What's up, boys? It's Nick from Team Table 501 here. I'm the king of the scrubs, and I'm sorry I couldn't get this out to you guys earlier. I've been very busy with school, a lot of work, and I was testing for the PPTQs, so that's where a lot of my time is, but I'm finally ready to show you my updated Domain Monarch deck profile for the February 2018 ban list. That's right, this deck is back, and it's honestly, I am not being biased this time. This deck is actually rather solid for the format that we're in. Now that Pendulum Magician has been nerfed, you don't have to really worry about dealing with super oppressive boards. The deck can still make them, don't misunderstand me, but there are some boards where all you have to do is deal with a Naruto. But there are some boards that end on Decode Talker, Vortex Dragon, and, say, Omega or Baguska, and those boards are rather difficult to break. However, now that Pendulum has been neutered, it's very easy for you to establish your domain lock and stop them from playing the game. Now that Spiral is nerfed, you don't have to deal with Sleeper anymore, so yay! And, you know, this deck is actually rather solid against all the backrow decks that exist because the monsters in the deck are just so inherently big that it can just punch through most things. So, Trickstar, the matchup is still rough, but Game 1, you're not that favored, but Games 2 and 3 get better. But anyway, unfortunately, I'm not playing this deck at Regionals. I just don't think it's good enough. I think that it's still too inconsistent, and it's just not super powerful. However, I will give you guys a regional report after the tournament, so I can you'll know how I did. But anyway, enough blabbering. I'll have the link to the deck list in the description down below, so you guys can go look at that. And without further ado, deck list. Here we go. So this is Monarchs, obviously, so we're going to start off with the 1 Aether. I'm not going to explain what these cards do. I've done them 1,000 times. Aether's nuts. Disruption, you know, 2,800 on board. Card's great. Triple Erebus. This is probably the best card in the deck. You know, the non-targeting removal is great. Graveyard effect is great. The fact that you can do it during either player's turn, meaning that you can bring this back. This card is nuts. And then 1 Thestalos. The hand information is important, and the burn damage is really nice. 2 Karaz. I actually tested 3 for the longest period of time. But considering that Pendulum Magician has no outs to this card, I'm playing Majesty's Fiend. You know, this is a card I cut originally for the 3rd Karaz, but I just decided that this card was way better. Because if your opponent has evenly matched, this is the card that helps you beat evenly matched. Because they're going to have a very hard time outing this without having another board wipe. So, this card's nuts. And, of course, Triple Vanity's Fiend, best card in the game. Almost every deck needs to special summon, so if you put this on board, you just win. Your opponent needs to have a board wipe, or they need to have a way to negate its effect, and if they don't, they lose. So, that does it for the monsters, or for the tribute, or for the monarchs. Onto the fodder. 3 Edia, don't let it get ashed. 3 Eidos, don't let it get ghost ogred. And 3 Link Slayer. This card is now the best tribute fodder we have in the deck. Now that Bottomless and Torrential are at 3, this deck needs a way to interact with back row. Specifically through cards like Bottomless and Torrential, because if you summon your Erebus and it gets Torrentialed, it feels really bad, because even though you still get the effect, you don't have Domain Lock on the board anymore. This card helps you push through back row like that, because not only is it bigger than 1,500, so it gets hit with Bottomless itself, it can bait cards like Torrential Tribute, Breakthrough Skill, Lost Win, you know, stuff that normally they would save for Edia and Eidos. So this card helps you push through back row, and it's level 5, so if you brick, you can Tribute Summon it. 20 monsters onto the spells, 3 Domain, best card in the game. 3 Tenacity to search. 3 Return to search more monarchs and not get hit by strike. Pantheism is the best draw spell. Stormforth is the best tribute fodder. And March of the Monarchs because Vanity's Fiend needs protection. 1 Upstart because 39 is better than 40. 1 Foolish Burial to send Erebus, Edia, or Eidos. Rhoda, and 1 for 1 is extra copies of Edia. And then for traps, 2 Prime, 2 Erupt. So Prime's obvious, but Erupt is a card that I tested it, and it's actually pretty meh. It's a card you could very easily cut for other cards like Pot of Desires, Cosmic Cyclone, or if you wanted to play like 3rd Prime, and Frostblast, you could do that as well. But this is a card that, while it is a win more card, it's not that bad. Because even if you're in a winning position, you can just send it to the graveyard from your deck so you don't have to draw it. and it's a card that helps you. It's a card that helps you ensure the victory, because there are monsters in the game that can out Vanity's Fiend. You know, cards like Spiral Tough, Purple Poison Magician. You know, stuff like random rogue decks can out it. So this card helps you with that. So, and you know, it's searchable. So why wouldn't you play the card? But it is very win more. And it's also that unless you it's very dead after turn 1 because you really want it for turn 2 when your opponent tries to use their effects to out your domain, and then you chain this and they don't get to play. So essentially what I'm saying is that this card helps you win games faster, but it also isn't the worst card in the world to draw. Just randomly having this, along with something like Erebus, can sometimes just win you the game if you're in the correct matchup. So 40 main deck. Pretty happy with the main deck at the moment. I don't think I would change much. Deck Divider, Field Divider. And then for the side deck, 1 copy of Dark Samorg. I completely forgot this card existed, but now that the ban list has dropped, I've decided that it's good. So for those of you who don't know what it does, the summoning condition is irrelevant. You're going to summon it off Aether. And it says your opponent cannot set cards on the field. So for those of you who don't know, the True Draco spells and traps can only destroy cards if they're sent from the field to the graveyard. And this card says that they can't summon, or they can't set cards. Draco's only out, I shit you not, is to either use 2 spells to summon Masterpiece, or they need to use 2 spells to summon Majesty Maiden and activate a diagram so it has 2700 attack so it can crash with the Dark Samorg. Draco has very few outs to this card. I mean, they have Darkhold and Regeki as well, but you know, this card is insane. You can summon it off Aether. Erebus can return it to your hand. I love this card. 1 Zaborg for extra deck shenanigans. 1 Caius. This card's actually really good right now because Pendulum Magician, you need to find a way to get through multiple negates, and this helps you do that by banishing 2 cards on the field. So, and then even though Sleeper and Masterpiece and stuff really aren't in the format, still need Kaijus. You know, this deck going second is really hard since Stormforth isn't at 3. Maxi is banned, so going second's even harder for this deck now. You know, you need to have Kaijus to out your opponent's problematic monsters to help you tribute summon, because even if you draw them and you brick, you can tribute summon them, activate your domain, and you can get your life going again. Then Darkhold and Regeki is extra board wipes. Frostblast, again, back row is super relevant right now, and having this card in the side deck for going first against back row is really good. And then the 1 Monster Reborn. This card's amazing going second in this deck because you can just take a monster out of your opponent's graveyard and you contribute it away, so it helps you unbrick your hands. And I do have the Lost Art promo, which is really cool. But you can play any Monster Reborn, it doesn't matter. 2 copies of Magical Spring. See, this card doesn't necessarily beat Pendulums, but it helps you get an advantage against them. They're not really doing like Time and Star and stuff like that anymore. But it's a card that can just get you there. This is probably the card in the side deck I would cut the first. For other cards, I don't know what you would replace it with, though. The card is still super good, though. And then 2 copies of Solemn Scolding. We need to negate Evenly Matched, and that's about it. So that does it for the Domain Monarch deck profile, guys. Like I said, I'm not playing this at Regionals. I think that other decks are better. You'll get that deck list after the Regional. I don't want people knowing what the deck is. But like I said, the only cards I'd really change are maybe Monarch's Erupt and Magical Spring. But other than that, I am very, very happy with the way the deck has turned out, and I can't wait to play it at locals. So, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of it. Follow me on Twitter. Link in that is in the description down below, along with the deck list. This is very brief. Like I said, I've gone over this deck a lot. It's just a few cards getting unbanned and a few cards getting banned puts the deck in a much better position. So if I couldn't borrow the deck that I'm going to play at Regionals, I would play this deck. I think it's in a pretty solid position. And if you're on a budget, the deck's only about $50, $60. It's not the worst thing you could do. I still think there are better options. But if you really want to play something rogue, something that not many people are going to expect, I highly recommend this deck. I think it's really good right now. So, but that's going to do it for me. My name is Nick from Team Table 501. Thank you for watching and get good, scrubs. I'll see you next time.